Okey. Baiklah, saya rasa saya akan mulakan. Saya perkenalkan diri, saya Puan Haja Safiah, moderator kita untuk webinar pada petang ini. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Malaysia Madani. Salam Sarawak Maju Makmur. Salam IPG Peneraju Kecemerlangan Pendidikan Guru Bertaraf Dunia. Salam IPG Ketar ku sayangi. Salam sejahtera and very good afternoon everyone. Yang berbahagia Tuan Pengarah IPG Ketar, Encik Yahya bin Siddiq, Timbalan Pengarah IPG Ketar, Encik Muyang Anak Jami, Ketua Jabatan Perancangan Penyelidikan Inovasi IPG Ketar, Dr. Stanley Anak Abang, para pensyarah dan pegawai pengurusan IPG Ketar serta semua peserta dari dalam dan di luar kampus IPG. Welcome and thank you for joining us today in webinar penyelidikan 2 AI Assisted Systematic Literature Review SLR and Bibliometric Analysis. Allow me to conduct this session in bilingual or both language. Untuk makluman para peserta webinar, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, which is Dr. Chua Kin Man from Universiti Malaysia Sarawak UNIMAS. Beliau merupakan pensyarah kanan dengan lebih 15 tahun pengalaman dalam bidang teknologi pendidikan, e-learning, instructional design dan juga AI dalam pendidikan. He also actively involved in research, publications and innovation and has received multiple awards at international and international level. Hello, Doctor. Tanpa melengahkan masa, I would like to invite Dr. Chua Kin Man to begin his session. Dr. Chua, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam Safia. I was told you're going to retire soon, right? Happy retirement soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for making your time. Seperti sesi sebelum ni lah, 2 jam ni agak compact. So, saya upaya untuk cover apa yang penting lah. So, kalau nak cover secara detail tu memang 2 jam ni tak cukup. Okay, so saya akan share screen terlebih dahulu. Let me just share screen. So as usual, I will conduct this in bilingual as well untuk memudahkan pemahaman. Mana entire screen ni? Okay, alright. I think it should be there. Okay. Okay, alright. So macam loading pula on my screen. It's okay, right? Sometimes it's slower to load. Okay, topik yang dicadangkan oleh Dr. Nazri sebenarnya, so sekali lagi terima kasih kepada Dr. Nazri kerana sudi menjemput saya untuk sesi ini. Tajuk yang diberikan adalah lebih ke arah Systematic Literature Review and Bibliometric Analysis. I think ramai yang mungkin berminat nak tulis review ataupun paper yang berkaitan dengan SLR dan juga bibliometric. Ada berbagai jenis nak kata pandangan tak juga, berbagai jenis cara lah sebenarnya. Tak adalah kata apa yang saya kongsi ni adalah cara yang 100% kena ikut sebab dia ada kehendak masing-masing. Cuma saya will focus more on the core or what these 2 types of writing or 2 types of publication lah, I would say, sebab dia banyak jenis kan. We also have scoping review, we have meta-analysis, so there's just so many types of analysis when it comes to reviewing other people's work rather than producing our own empirical data. Selain daripada buat atas ni, pergi kutip data, kita analyse hasil kajian orang lain. So that's one of the type yang kita boleh buat lah. Okay, so let me just start off with this one. The slide will just be, I would say, more on covering the essential thing. You will get a copy of it. And I also have a interactive module that I will share in a bit. You can download the slides from the link and also take a look at some of the prompts and you can use lah, right? Okay, so because it's 2 hours, we're going to end about 4:15. I wouldn't say it's equally split, maybe more time on SLR because I think that one is easier to produce. Not saying that bibliometric is not easy. It's actually easier to get the visual and all that, but to write it is not that easy. Okay, but thankfully we have AI to assist us in the process, but we are not speeding things up just for the sake of speeding it. Kita buat ni, kita bukan sekadar nak cepat, kita nak make sure yang dengan ada AI ni hasil sorotan ataupun our review is better than before. Sebelum ni mungkin tak ada AI, kita main main bedal je lah, apa yang kita jumpa kita pun review. But with AI now, I think we have a partner that can help us to kind of filter unnecessary papers, or maybe sometimes we overlook. I have seen some papers doing on SLR, but they are reviewing predatory journals. I think there's one paper where out of 30 papers that they review, hampir separuh tu datang daripada predatory journal. So you get what I mean? So before this memang kita tak ada masa nak betul-betul filter. Bukan kata tak ada masa je lah, tak ada kuasa juga sebab to filter is not easy. SLR is actually not easy to write because of the screening process tu kan, sebab kita kena screen. Dan bibliometric pun sangat popular now sebab ramai yang nampak all the software. But sebenarnya bibliometric ni kita tak perlu software AI sangat pun, we just need the visualization part, because most of the bibliometric software dah boleh buat AI kind of output lah. Cuma we're going to use AI to enhance more of the, I think, discovery and also screening process. Okay, so like I said, we don't want AI to just replace us. Kita nak, kalau seboleh-bolehnya kita guna AI ni nak tambah baik dan juga tingkatkan kualiti kita tu lah kan. Tak adalah kata dengan ada AI pun we are writing a very poor SLR or a very poor bibliometric yang just tangkap muat orang kata. Cari artikel, kita tulis saja, so we don't have a chance to really filter wisely. So dengan ada AI, mungkin kita boleh buat dengan lebih baik, especially SLR. For bibliometric ni sebab we still have the software to help us, so kebarangkalian untuk bergantung kepada AI tu kurang sikit lah. Okay, so that is the kind of first part. Let's go to the first part now, systematic literature review. Do not be confused with the normal literature review. If you're doing the literature review just to review, the current trends or paper to review certain grade, itu literature review biasa. Bila kita kata systematic literature review, we are talking about a systematic way of critically analyzing or synthesizing the papers or the selected journal. It looks like an empirical study, to be honest. Cuma we are not collecting data. We are not developing, a proper data collection procedure lah. Bukan kata proper tak proper. Basically, we are not really collecting data. We sebenarnya tetap ada gap, tetap ada research question and all that, but it's all about reviewing other people's punya kajian. So I think the first thing that we need to always have is, perlu ke review tersebut? Kan? We have to ask ourselves, perlu ke kita tulis systematic literature review tersebut? To establish this is not that easy, because most journal they have a tendency to reject review papers if they don't see the need for it, or the reviewers believe that your review ni tak perlu pun sebenarnya sebab orang tak tahu. So you're not adding anything to what we already know. But if you are able to establish something that, okay, kita tak tahu benda ni, so we need to have it, then your SLR, it's easier to get published like in a way. Okay, but for your, you can always use the same styles for your thesis writing, the dissertation and all that, for those who are doing that, so that would help as well. But I think my point is like this. Ramai yang kata dia beranggapan bahawa bila kita buat systematic literature review ni, kita just kumpul, kita buat review summary saja. Yang tu literature review biasa. Systematic literature review memang ada proses yang kita kena ikut. So if you just search systematic literature review, memang banyak lah kan. Okay, so I'm not go deeper. So these are the general process which we follow based on the benchmark, we call it. There's a framework that we follow for literature review and also bibliometric, because they are sharing the same features in the front part. Only the later part is a bit different, and also the amount of papers. So dia hampir sama dari segi gaya dia, right? Flow dia hampir sama. Bezanya adalah kaedah yang kita gunakan untuk buat systematic literature review dan juga kaedah yang kita gunakan untuk bibliometric, and also the volume of it. Bibliometric ni kena lagi banyak, right? So, but if you take a look at this flow, right, kita kena buat question, search and strategy, meaning kita question and search, kita kena ada RQ dulu lah. Contoh, you want to find out that out of all this review kan, all these papers, all these studies that have been done, contoh, what else yang belum lagi, bukan belum lah, mungkin kurang diberikan perhatian, contoh. That would be your research question. And then from that research question, you develop your search strategy. I'll show you how we can use some either Gemini, ChatGPT or Claude to do this. My favorite is still Claude at the moment because of its extensiveness in doing that. But kita akan tengok lah nanti kan. Then discovery, kita kena cari daripada sumber-sumber tentu. Yang bahagian ni, alright, kalau kita tak ada akses kepada database yang reliable, bukan reliable sajalah in terms of popularity, I would say. Sebenarnya dia popular saja, nak kata reliable sangat tak ada juga. Contoh Scopus lah. Scopus walaupun dia popular sebab it's one of the established kind of indexing. But kalau you betul-betul dig deeper, banyak juga Scopus index papers are actually lower quality type, especially yang kurang citation. So walaupun kita kata Scopus, it's an indexing services, it doesn't mean that all papers dalam tu is good lah kan. So that mindset has to be clear. Sama juga dengan Web of Science. So but the thing is, most journal, most publication punya outlet, dia sukalah kalau kita guna database besar-besar ni. Kalau you kata you guna Google Scholar, Google Scholar especially and all this, dia tak berapa nak setujulah dengan cara you pilih. But we'll learn how to filter that later on. Then the third one ni, I sengaja letak as the core. The reason is we always avoid this. Okay, avoid as in kita contohkan, kita dah nanti kita akan demo sekejap lah kan, in terms of the flow. Bila kita dah tentukan the research question and then kita dapat the list of articles yang kita jumpa tu kat mana-mana sajalah, Scopus ke, Web of Science and all that, most of the time we will limit according to what we have lah, the inclusion criteria and exclusion. Kita dah decide how to filter everything. Most of the time kita akan pilih maybe yang highly cited ataupun yang paling relevant. But the problem is, kalau ikut proper, most framework, di bahagian ni sebenarnya kita kena establish the relevance tu. Maksudnya kita kena ada at least a second reviewer among ourselves, or second opinion punya type, where bila kita bagi list artikel ni, macam mana you tentukan you nak pilih artikel tu kan. So that is the critical part. Kalau you pilih secara bias, you only pilih mana yang you rasa suka, yang akan justify your implication dengan apa, that is already quite, how to put it, more jurnal akan detect lah sebenarnya sebab you tak ada pelaporan yang you have another person yang review. So this part I think AI can do the first job and then you get someone to also help you. Walaupun you can do it alone, most jurnal akan reject sebenarnya. They don't have this, they call it like Cohen Kappa, all this effect where you have two people to review the paper, whether to include or not, the more the better. But if you don't have that, usually your paper will be rejected outright, or they would ask you for that kind of data lah. Sama ada you dah check the paper tu, macam mana you nak pilih. Then we have the data extraction, of course, get all the things out and then start writing. I think this 5 and 6, AI can do quite a lot work to help you to at least draft the first draft, then you work on the editing and all that. Okay, so this is the general flow, and this flow sebenarnya tak adalah baru sangat. It's mainly following, let me show the things. Sebenarnya kita ikut yang ni je, yang ni kan. Kalau everything that we do for SLR ke, bibliometric ke, we go for Prisma punya framework. Kalau kita tengok website dia ni, let me just show you the website, Prisma. So you can go to prismastatement.org. Alright, nanti I'll give you the link for my sources. So we normally, kalau you betul-betul nak buat SLR je, dia sangat systematic. Nama pun systematic kan. You just follow the Prisma tu. Oh, I cannot send message. Tak apalah. I think you can see kan, prisma-statement.org. This is a very good way to do. In fact, most journal will ask you to do this anyway. So you can download yang checklist semua ni. Yang penting adalah you ambil flow diagram ni. Alright. Contoh kan, kalau the flow diagram, kalau you baca flow diagram ni pun dah memudahkan your proses. Sebab first thing, you kena decide identification. Search dulu ada berapa. Contoh asalnya, berapa database yang you guna, berapa register and all that. And then apa yang you dapat, how many you get. in terms of duplicate semua nanti, you decide lah kan. Tapi yang ni kan, before this, we have to do this quite manually, I would say. Quite manual jugalah, maybe semi-manual. But now you have AI can really help you a lot. Then, this screening part, nampak tak? Screening part ni, record screen and all this, upper criteria, inclusion, exclusion, semua tu. So, you have to really report everything. Sampailah di hujung, berapa yang you betul-betul review. Contohlah mula-mula 500, you jumpa 500 kajian yang berkaitan dengan yang topik, then how do you narrow down to only 20? This is the part where if you do it well, this is the most important part for SRR paper. If you do it well, you will be able to justify the relevance of why am I only reviewing 20, not out of 500 just now. That would add value to your your review lah. Yang beza dengan bibliometric sebenarnya adalah di bahagian ni jugalah sedikit. And also the bibliometric dia ada visualization yang ramai suka tu. Dah macam trend dah kan. Bila bibliometric ni kena ada visual. You will know I mean later on. Okay. Right. So untuk memudahkan proses ni, maybe, let me just, I don't know whether I can share link juga. Maybe I just post here. Okay, kita akan go one by one now. Dalam slide ni sebenarnya, I actually summarize all this thing. So all this question and search strategy, we can actually ask AI tool to help us. If you like ChatGPT, you can go for ChatGPT. If you like Claude, you can go for it. Or Gemini. I'll demonstrate some of this later on. For example, nak carikan bulan, bulan punya string ni. Biasanya kita malas nak fikir. So kita suruh AI buatkan. But there's a certain strategy to do that. But the cache macam ni lah. General thing is only the starting point, jangan percaya bulat-bulat. Okay, and then of course we'll look at how we use this. The problem is kalau kita tak ada access macam cikgu-cikgu di sekolah, sometimes kalau nak buat kajian dia tak dapat access ke Scopus dengan Web of Science ni, kan? So they probably have to rely on Google Scholar or Semantic Scholar. Still diterima sebenarnya. You just have to find the right outlet lah. So what you can do is every time kalau you nak publish SLR, you go to the journal, you read through the journal scope and also the guideline. They will say, most journal will tell you whether they accept or not. If kalau dia tak accept, all this journal yang contoh dia hanya accept daripada ni, dia tak accept Google Scholar punya literature review, then jangan hantar sana lah. You're wasting your time sebab you know what I mean, dia mungkin terus di-check. Kecuali kalau you betul-betul confident yang you are discovering something really groundbreaking or something new, right? But most of the time based on my experience, kalau dia nampak yang kita guna Google Scholar and all this, keberangkalian di reject tu lagi cepat, kan? So there are a few tools here which I will demonstrate. Tak adalah you kena guna. Ryan ni used to be fully free, but now dia dah jadi 3 active. So maybe I just show you what it is. I will not like go deep. Yang ni mungkin you can try as well. Yang ni percuma, open source. Yang ni just tolong you untuk filter, and you can see dia punya helpfulness lah nanti. Yang ni untuk janakan flowchart, you can use the Shiny app nanti. Okay, yang dalam slide ni sebenarnya dia just go through one by one. What I will do now, I will share you the link. Senang you nak ikut my demonstration ni. Let me just copy the link for you. So I have an interactive module here. Kita mula satu-satu, at least basic dulu. Tak bolehlah cover detail sebab memang tak cukup masa. Kita go, mana yang tu. Okay, pergi ke link ni. Sebab saya tak dapat paste ni, mungkin someone boleh paste di chat. Tak tahulah dia kata your message wasn't delivered, maybe sebab saya di luar organisation kot. Boleh? Okay, this is the link. So this link I will keep it forever, as in as long as I live. Then you, kalau you nak rujuk this, just rujuk nanti. Dalam tu ada slide juga. You go to this link, you akan dapat the same thing actually. And then kalau you nak download slide nanti, slide tu ada kat sini, kan? Same thing. Okay, let's go through very quickly. Sebab the reason why I give you this interactive one adalah untuk memudahkan you copy kalau you nak try sekarang lah. But I know most people mungkin tak ada di depan laptop or PC, so susah nak betul-betul try. So I just keep it here. Senang you nak practice nanti ataupun nak try lah, kan? So let me zoom in sikit. Like I said, kita map to Prisma because this is a standard. Try your best to follow the standard. So untuk elak kita membazir masa. Because if you're not following the standard way of writing it, if you try to publish in some of the journal, you're wasting your time because dia tak terima, kan? They are not accepting it. So might as well we follow the right in the right way. Okay, so we're going to go for the question and answer just now. Let's say kita ada idea, if you have some idea but you don't really know what to focus on, usually SLR, the research question, will try to identify areas, the PICO they call it, the PICO question, where you focus on population, intervention, comparison, outcome and all this. And the SPIDER one, sample, phenomenon, interest, design, evaluation and research type. Contoh, like one of the review paper that I did was on theoretical foundation in developing mobile assisted language learning app lah. So all this while, most review, they focus more on the tool use, the content, blah, blah, blah. So I found a gap where, because I found it when I was trying to do mine, I nampak macam tak ada yang review tentang theoretical framework alone. Apa teori yang diguna in developing the app, contoh. I find that, so I was searching and then tak ada review yang betul-betul go deep. Ada 2-3 yang maybe only cover a few studies. So I use that as a base, as my rough idea dulu, my rough topic, right? Contoh, lack of theoretical review or theoretical foundation when developing, mobile assisted language learning app. Contoh, dia memang guna, dia report, tapi tak ada orang buat review pasal tu, faham? Kita bukan nak buat kajian tentang tu, kita nak review apa yang orang buat so that you want to find out what people are doing. Tapi tak ada orang nak buat review tu, contoh lah kan. So we want to do it. So you can try out with this one. If ni kalau you tak ada idea, you really don't have idea what to focus on dulu lah kan. So you can copy this. Alright. So I'm gonna try on ChatGPT because I think that's the popular one. Most people are using it. Let me see. Yang ni buka ChatGPT. Pergi ke ChatGPT. Actually Gemini pun okay. Kalau I tak ingat whether I cover that in the previous workshop, but I think we can do that later on. Sekejap. Okay, nanti kita pergi So, let's say you copy this just now. You copy from my just copy and then pergi ke ChatGPT. You can change that. This is just a guy, so you can just change this. My rough topic is, let's say you want to look at what do you call that? Impact of social media among children, below 12 years old, contoh. You ada idea nak buat, tapi you tak tahu nak fokus apa. Ramai dah buat kajian tentang ni, contoh, about children, but you want to review sama ada tak dia, there's a trend kan, apa trend dia. So that's the purpose of review. So your field, this is optional. Having a few would be nice because most literature review ni, SLR, even when you screen, it goes by your fields, but different field ada different expectation. So you can have more than one. So you can go for, let's say, educational technology and public health, contoh, right? Then the rest ni sama je. This is the guide. So dia akan reframe, bagi idea lah. Bukan kata bagi terus, dia bagi idea saja. Ultimately, you still have to choose Right? So saya akan tekan ni. Tekan submit. So dia akan suggest. So dia akan nampak, dia kata, I will use PICO. Saya tak nak guna SPIDER. Sebab yang ni saya tak nak spesifik sangat. So I want to maybe by impact. So dia adalah PICO question. PICO ni popular method one of the most popular way to do SLR starting point lah untuk tahu apa yang kita nak narrowkan. So nampak macam ni, possible review question, nampak? Dia bagi idea dah. Among children below 12 years old, what is the impact of social media use compared to limited users? Contoh dia bagi idea, right? And then kalau ada alternative framing, what are the educational development health related effect and all this. So this is initial idea. Usually kalau my strategy, I akan search dulu question-question macam ni lah. Just to find out ada tak review yang dah buat. Memang akan ada, cuma kita akan tahu berapa lah kan. Usually, how to put it, kalau gap macam ni tak ada sangat, so it's good for you to find out, bukan number of study pasal di topik kan, takut you confuse. We are talking about number of reviews about this. Faham? Kalau paper kajian tu memang sepatutnya banyak lah. Kalau sikit, you tak boleh buat literature review. Kan, you need a lot to do literature review, faham kan? What I mean is review tentang topik ni. Usually, the number of review about this, usually sebolehnya jangan banyak sangat. Kalau dah banyak orang review benda ni, tak payah you review lagi. Get my point kan? Ada beza. Bukan bilangan kajian tentang topik ni. Adalah review tentang topik ini. Kan? Be careful lah. Sebab bila kita buat SLR, we want to establish the fact that not many reviews have been done within the scope, barulah you nak buat review tu. Kalau orang dah banyak buat, contoh kalau you type kan review of AI in education, banyak sangat. But you have to identify apa dia orang fokus tu. Mungkin dia terlepas pandang something yang tak ada dalam review-review sebelum ni, you nak buat review tu. Then cun lah. So it's easier for you to justify in your research problem tu, yang problem statement di depan tu kan. Sebab writing SLR ni lebih kurang sama macam empirical study, cuma dia question ni lebih ke arah review. Review, okay. So I ambil ni sajalah. So I'm gonna pick some of this. Maybe I'm gonna pick like how does maybe, alright, review tentang ni. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this topic. Then the next step is, kalau you tengok the step, ni contoh lain, you can use for Gemini tu, tapi since we are already here, kita nak flow di ChatGPT sajalah. So I will copy that dulu. Mana ChatGPT saya tadi? Yang ni. Saya copy down here, ambil yang ni, alright. And then what I will do is, I akan, kalau nak copy later pun tak apa, sebab yang ni saya dah letak kat sini. This is where we create the Boolean search lah. So kita dah tentukan problem yang kita nak fokus. Now kita nak carilah ada berapa kajian tentang topik tersebut. Boleh ya? So, salah ni. Okay, then kita pergi ke sini. Takut you, ni kalau nak boleh move yang ni ke bawah ni terus lah. Ni. Okay. Alright. So delete yang ni. Okay, this is a sample. Build a Boolean search string for Scopus and a separate for web of science. Kalau you tak nak web of science, then buang lah. Okay, kalau tak nak web of science, buang. Tapi kalau nak dua-dua, try. If you have access to web of science, boleh. Kalau you don't have access to Scopus or web of science, then you can use yang popular tu, macam OpenELEC. OpenELEC nanti akan tunjuk. And also Semantic Scholar pun boleh. Alright. Then, this is the question, and then you can set the time window, contoh 2015 to 2025. Normally for SLR, sebab kita nak nampak, a bit wider punya development, 5 to 10 years is a good duration lah. Tapi kalau nak lama pun tak apa, ada juga yang buat lama-lama. Bibliometric usually lama sikit, sampai 10 years and above, but for a SLR, the gap of 5 to 10 years is good enough, right? Kecuali you justify well. So, contoh AI kan, kalau you tengok AI tools ni, within short 5 years ni banyak ni kan, because the development is faster, then you can narrow down the durations. But you have to justify in your methodology section tu, you also have to justify that why are you picking this duration. Mesti ada sebab dia, right? Contoh ada juga set the duration based on current situation. Contoh post-COVID, between COVID until now. Ataupun now kita ada US-Iran war. Dia nak tengok trends sebelum dan selepas Iran war. So there's a window yang you boleh tetapkan. Faham? Dia tak fix lah basically. Saya nak bagi tahu dia tak fix. So tak perlu ikut rigid yang kata kena 10 tahun ni. No, it really depends on what you are trying to review. I want to look at, let's say, post-COVID situation. So my time frame can be from 2020 to 2025. Contoh kan. And then document type. This one usually tak letak pun tak apa, because you can pick in most Scopus and website you can tick tu. Tapi kalau nak letak juga, you can say lah articles. Alright. And then language, you can put English. Alright. Contoh. Now what happened is this particular prompt kind of use macam ni, dia guna ni for Scopus, yang ni for web science. So kita boleh buang yang ni, kita tak perlu web science, ni kita biar saja. Yang ni pun sama, kita buang. Alright. Okay. Now done. Just edit. Kalau you jenis takut nak edit, you just edit yang bahagian ni sajalah. Okay, at least scope tu ada. And then hantar. What this prompt is helping us is to decide the Boolean punya string tu in a easier manner. So nampak tak? Dia dah bagi Scopus punya ni. Okay, kita bagi Scopus. Tunjuk Scopus dah. Okay, but that is the standard. So bila kita sign into Scopus, kita kena tekan search. Unfortunately, like I said, kalau you tak ada institutional punya account, memang you tak ada access to Scopus punya database. Lepas tu ramai yang bila dia buat SRR ni, susah dia nak masuk Scopus and website tu cari. So and then bila dia guna Google Scholar and everything, and bila the reviewer said, oh you are relying on unreliable database semua tu, then you tak tahu nak jawab kan. So terpaksalah I personally don't agree with that lah. Sebab, you know, like I said, Scopus nama sebab dia popular, but it doesn't mean that all papers in Scopus tu semua berkualiti kan. We know, you know, the publication punya situation. So, what we do now, bila kita tekan search atas ni, we usually search for document dululah kan. And then you nak search article, title, abstract, keyword ataupun atau semua tu, okay. But usually kita go for ni sahaja, title, abstract and keyword. Tak perlu all field. Sebab all field ni pening nanti. So we just pick article, title, abstract and keyword. So what happen is dia akan cari the article title dalam database ni, and abstract and also keyword to find out the papers yang relevant to what we want to do now based on our topik tadi. Kalau topik saya tadi adalah pasal how does social media use influence learning engagement, attention and academic related behavior among primary school children. Okay, ni let's say I want to do this kind of review lah. It doesn't mean this one will work, but I'm just demonstrating. So dia akan letak, nampak tak? Dia letak all the possible term yang mungkin kita akan terlepas pandang. Okay, but sometimes like I said, this kind of boolean string bila terlampau too narrow pun susah juga because it may be covering things that we don't need. Nampak tak dia bagi sinonim ni? Sometimes some people use social media, some people use social networking site. So this is why we need this kind of search string. And when you report in your writing, you can just say all this keyword. Right? You can just report, this is the keyword that I use to search. So it makes it easier to, untuk backup lah. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita tengok review tu kan, dia bagi 2 term je. Then the reviewer will say, you know, you are searching probably too broad. Kan? So, and then contoh broad, contoh lah kan, contoh. In the paper, it says, dia bagi 2 keyword sahaja. Lepas tu dia kata, bila dia search 2 keyword ni, dia jumpa 100 je artikel. Of course, reviewer will flag. Dia tak logik. Kalau you search 2 perkataan ni, it's a broad terms, tak logik 100 je. Mesti beribu. You get what I mean? Because when you do that broad thing, reviewer akan flag, and then reviewer will start to macam suspicious lah. Betul ke bila 2 string ni masuk 100 je keluar. Dan daripada 100 pula you kata ada 10 je yang berkaitan. Then you review 10 tu saja. These are all signaling trends to reviewer that you are not doing it properly lah kan. Kecuali kalau term tu memang sangat-sangat spesifik, which is also a bad thing. Okay, kita copy ni. Right. What you can do is, kalau you nak, you can actually type satu-satu, but we don't need that. So what we will do is, we go to advanced document search. Okay. Dalam ni kita paste sahaja yang you dah dapat daripada ni. Faham? Okay. Kalau lah if you notice something not right, contoh lah you don't need ni, you delete lah. If you think this one not needed, you just delete. Kan? Okay. Then search. Okay. Kita tengok This is the first step of nak buat literature review lah. Second step, sorry. First step tu buat research question. Nampak tak? Jumpa berapa? Kan? Ni banyak ni keyword ni. Kalau you letak 2 keyword, you kata you jumpa 100, tak logik tu. Kan? Doesn't make sense. So kalau saya review paper SRR pun, that's one thing that I will flag. Kadang-kadang sampai I search juga. Kalau dia kata dia pergi Scopus, search that keyword dalam period tu, I akan ikut tu. So you have to be careful ya. So if you do like this, you are safe. Because you memang report accordingly. So this is the first step. You akan kata this search term, the initial list, maybe you 1000 plus, tapi kita belum filter sangat lagi. Sebab yang ni kalau you perasan, dalam Scopus sekarang ni, kalau kita tengok ni, dia tak mana saya tak letak. Oh, I forgot to put. Did I put? Yeah, here. 2014, 2026. Dia memang dah filter di sini. Kalau kita tengok order, kita check dulu. Good to check. Nampak? Memang dia ikut lah. Because the order is 2015. Sebab saya kata kat sini 2014. Tapi kalau you are not confident, you can put here lah. Kalau nak. Tapi tak perlu pun sebab dah filter. Then, one thing yang I notice is the field. Kita tak letak tadi tu. So, saya usually tak limit by field sebab some study memang across multiple discipline kan. So, susah you nak limit ni. But let's say you really want to filter this, you tak nak involve certain area, then you boleh tick lah. Kan? Certain area yang you don't think is necessary tapi macam okay je lah semua ni. Because we talk about impact kan, it could be health related kan, it could be psychological. So Make sense lah. So subject area ni kita jarang-jarang nak filter kecuali you betul-betul nak fokus tu. Tapi kalau terlampau fokus dia panggil scoping review pula kan. If you are writing scoping review, you can scope in only on one. Contoh, you nak scope kat immunity je. Contoh lah. Then your paper will be only 74. Awal-awal dah 74. Belum lagi you nak filter benda lain. Okay, so that's more to scoping review. But let's say I don't want to do this. Then I will check again. So all article betul, nampak? Why dia artikel ni, kita tak perlu tick pun sebab dalam boolean search tu dah kata artikel. Kan kita dah set kita nak artikel saja. So dia tak akan keluar apa nama book chapter lah apalah and all that. Tapi ada yang terlepas ni, nampak tak? Kita kata English only tapi dia ada juga 4111 macam ni. So maybe dalam paper ni dia ada abstract in English. Right? Abstract in English. So tapi dia dah filter pun. Nampak tak? 108 ni. Okay? Alright. So, let's say kita dah okay dah. What do you do next is you can do further trimming kalau nak. Kalau dah happy, right? Kalau dah happy, you just click export. Usually we can use CSV or RIS. But if you want another step, which I encourage you to untuk buat adalah kita filter ikut citation count lah. So contoh kan, I download as RIS dulu. So you can include the bibliographic information kalau nak. Usually yang ni pun dah cukup. But if you need the abstract, you try to include the abstract juga. This will be good. Yang ni terpulang. Right? But these two I think is important. Okay, citation count tu ada kan? Okay, citation tengah ada. And then document ni, nampak tak? Kalau kita tekan all document on this page, dia akan download the 10 only. So now we will go for, terpulang lah. Kalau you betul-betul nak ambition nak go for 1000 terus filter ni, boleh. Okay, kita ambil dulu. Tapi kalau you ada keyword tertentu yang you nak highlight or buang and all this, you can limit lah. Contoh, you that one 108 tapi you pick maybe the best yang listed tu by 500, maybe by citation count. Okay, I export dulu lah just to show you. So I export as ni sebab you can use another tool called, I think ramai dah tahu, I think I should suruh pula ni sebab ramai banyak kan. Okay, maybe kita limitkan kan. Yang ni just initial tu kan, kalau banyak sangat ni you can actually limit lah. Usually we limit pun. Contoh we can go by citation count, you can sort by citation count kan. Nampak citation count ni? Cited by highest kan, you can go by this. So yang ni kan, mungkin dalam ni dia ada sebut tentang social media, tak tahu lah mungkin. So tapi 1000 lebih ni di citation ni. Even this one, children and adolescent and digital media, mungkin dalam ni ada cerita tentang apa nama the impact. So kalau you tak include dalam your review ni pelik lah kan, kecuali kalau you are narrowing down in a different area. So you can roughly estimate. Let's say if you go to, let's say I'm going to go for 200 result ni contoh, you can roughly estimate berapa yang you nak based on the citation count. Normally for SLR, you don't need that many review for SLR ni dalam lingkungan 20 to 50, around that, the final number. Tapi kalau nak more pun okay, cuma terlampau banyak pun you tak ada masa nak review in detail. So 20 to 50 is a nice range. So let's say I'm going to pick again here, so I dah sort ni. Alright, I dah sort dulu. Make sure you sort by citation dulu. Kan, dia dah list ni. Okay, so what you can do is, sebab I have change it to 200 Kalau you nak 100, you ambil 100 lah. So I'm change it to 200. So what I will do is, I will go to export. I can use RIS or CSV. Let's say CSV pun okay. So I'm going to pick all document on this page, 200. Nampak? Tak payah letak ni, I just pick all document dalam ni, 200. So this one, and then export. Okay, boleh? Sampai this export part lah. This part kalau you buat dengan betul, memang membantulah sebab kita dah sort ni. Either I open dulu. Okay, kalau dah ni, okay, now we have to do the screening part. So kalau you tengok Prisma model tu, you have to report lah. Initial ada 1008 kan. And then you narrow down by citation count. You pick the top 200. Kena sebut lah. I mean these are just sample. You kena bagi sebab. You have to report everything. Macam audit trail lah. You know, you have to trail. This is the first identification part. belum screening lagi ni, kita hanya identification saja. Then you give your reason, you give your boolean punya string tadi tu, yang search term semua tu. Bukan dalam kotak ni, dalam your writing, you say or maybe in a separate table. Then barulah kita akan mula screen. Okay, record screen tu berapa? Contoh now 200, akan narrow down ke berapa, yang mana yang boleh retrieve, yang mana tak boleh pun kita boleh buat kat sini. Dia macam ni record screen tadi ada 200. Tapi bila you try to retrieve PDF tak jumpa. There's no paper for you to download. Either it's paywall or maybe paper tu belum it's not open access. You tak dapat access. So you have to be honest lah kan. You have to say some papers were removed from the list sebab you tak dapat download the full PDF. Alright, no full retrieval. Then assess for eligibility. Eligibility based on your criteria lah. You not maybe only in Asian country, and all that, you limit. Okay. Now the normal process of ini, bagi yang pernah buat, I think memang kita akan tengok list ni nanti, and then kemudian kita akan cuba cari the publication and try to download. But if you want to use AI to help you, a few ways. Yang ni you can try ChatGPT. ChatGPT kadang dia tak itu sangat. Let's say I use Claude lah. I lebih suka Claude ni. So I'm gonna go for Claude. Okay. We have to check which one yang okay lah. Kalau my experience, bila bab academic stuff, you should go for Claude. Don't go for ChatGPT sangat lah. Okay, tapi cuma Claude ni kalau you tak subscribe cepat habis limit lah, tu masalah dia. So let's say I'm gonna upload this now. Mana tadi download ni? Ni contoh saja. Aku dah tak ingat ni kan. Okay, I think so. Sekejap, check tadi download. Ni 4A, okay. So, I uploaded here. Okay. Claude ni, dia kerja lebih sikit lah. Tapi you can change to Sonnet kalau nak. But I lebih suka Opus. Kalau yang at high pun okay. Alright. If you are using free punya Claude, you can only use Sonnet. The problem with Sonnet is dia punya filtering power tu not as strong sebab dia punya calculation tu tak strong sangat. So, tak apa, you tengok dulu. Kalau you nak try Sonnet for basic screening pun okay. But I'm going to go for Opus. Right. I'm malah nak rename ni. Patut kena rename lah. Kan? So ke contoh kita nak uji sort this identification ataupun search output pun boleh. Search output for SLR by citation count. Kan contoh. Tadi pun kita boleh sort dah, cuma ni I just nak test My advice to you, before you even use Claude to do further analysis, kita boleh test dulu. Okay, kita test dulu dia boleh baca ke tak ada file tu. Kadang-kadang kita upload ni dia tak dapat baca pun. So kita macam wasting time jugalah. So yang ni sebab kita dah ada file tu, what you can do is you can always verify lah. Kan? You can always verify. Contoh kalau kita sort mana tadi? Settled ni. Kalau kita guna ni, we can also sort. Boleh je buat sendiri, tak ada masalah. Ni dulu manual way macam ni lah kan. We sort satu-satu, lepas tu kita klik and then all that. But now ada AI, kita ask AI to speed up the process a bit. So once dia dah sort ni, kan, from 1 to 200, okay. Our justification here, one of the justification would be kita pilih mana yang highly cited top 200. Okay lah tu kan, good reasoning. Tapi belum nampak dia dah buat. Dia pergi buat balik tu. Okay, dia dah baca. Right, nampak? So, bila kita faham yang dia baca ni, okay, nampak ni, okay, 1, 4 tu, bila kita nampak dia boleh faham, okay lah, we are selamat. Meaning there's no hallucination going on at the moment lah. After all, dia just filter sahaja. Alright, so contoh, kalau this one 200 maybe too much lah. Maybe I'll show you how, okay, get the Claude ni dia senang nak tu get the full PDF for the first 20 by citation kau lah. Okay, dia tolong kita cari sebab kita ni kekurangan masa. So kita suruh dia carilah, tak payahlah kita cari satu-satu kan. I find this really helpful lah. So memang paper tu ada di Scopus, sepatutnya kita kenal satu-satu. Yang ni dia tolong kita carikan. Alright, so kalau dia dapat buat ni, so kita save more time lah. Kita klik, kita boleh download terus. Contoh, okay. Tapi yang ni salah satu untuk dapat pegang paper. Nampak? Dia kata 14 are flag open access, tapi ada 6 yang tak dapat. Nampak? 14 of the 20 are flag open access, tapi I'll use unpaywall to locate yang dia pandai pula guna unpaywall ni untuk cari mana yang tak dapat download tu. Okay. So, but to me lah kan, if you really cannot download, senang je. Dalam Prisma framework tu, you just say lah, some paper are not, contohlah tadi ada 200, I just put here, sort for retrieval maybe out of 200 tu tinggal 120 je, contoh. 80 tak boleh download, contoh. So you have to, 80, kan? Contoh. Dan you kena bagi sebab sebenarnya dalam your write up. Usually you can say macam paywall lah, unable to, download the full PDF. Kita buat literature review ni, kita kena download the full PDF bukan baca abstract je. I know lah kan, sebab bila kita buat literature review, kita guna abstract je untuk buat literature review. Tak boleh tu sebenarnya. Kita kena betul-betul download the whole paper. Okay. Yang ni kena tanya, kena tanya organizer, rakaman tu. Okay. Alright, so boleh Okay, yang tengah dia ni, kita tengah download ni, so dia tengah buat lagi. Okay, dia tengah retrieve lah. Another prompt yang kita boleh guna untuk dalam proses ini, kalau kita tengok kepada list saya dalam my website ni, bagi yang baru masuk, boleh klik link tu. Yang bawah ni, after this one, kita pun boleh suruh kita draft tolong kita draftkan inclusion or exclusion criteria lah. Contoh, mungkin kita ada idea tak berapa peka certain situation, kita suruh dia draftkan juga. Apa yang kita boleh filter based on our research question lah. You kena letak your research question kat sini. Okay, if you want to do ni. Yang ni boleh buat kat ChatGPT ataupun buat dalam Claude. Tapi like I said, alang-alang kalau you dah start di Claude, you can continue. Tapi kalau you buat di ChatGPT sana, nak continue di ChatGPT pun boleh. Cuma bahagian yang nak sorting tu, you can try on ChatGPT. Cuma the outcome may not be that detailed lah. Okay. Alright. So let me, mana ni proses ni? Sekejap. Dia tengah cari. Okay, tak apa. Biar dia buat dulu. Yang ni kan, kalau you kalau you guna Coword lagi cantik, dia downloadkan paper tu, dia letak dalam folder untuk kita. So kita tak boleh download pun. Yang ni kalau you nak bagi command kan, you bagi command for 200 tu, you tidur lah dan pagi esok you bangun, paper tu dah siap di download. Kalau Claude lah, sebab dia boleh tolong downloadkan. ChatGPT tak dapat at the moment. Tapi tunggu sampai ChatGPT agent keluar lah. Tapi kalau you buat ni, you memang kena subscribe. If you're not subscribing, you can't really fully utilize this feature lah, untuk tolong you download all this. Now, of course kita bukanlah kata wajib nak dia download. You can still do it manually, but since we're talking about AI assistance, so we want it to be helping us in the process of speeding up certain part yang kita rasa terlalu memakan masa lah. Especially yang ni lah. Kalau buat SLR ni, nak retrieve satu hal. Belum lagi screening, you take more time. Writing part I think maybe is just 20% of the whole process. Process yang screening to decide which paper and all that, it probably is longer than writing it out. Kan? Okay, so dia dah ni, biar dia buat dulu. Sekejap, saya nak continue ke bahagian, kita dah buat discovery tadi kan. So these are I demonstrated on Scopus. Kalau you tak nak guna Scopus, these are other, these two, Google Scholar and Semantic Scholar. Ataupun yang satu lagi dipanggil sebagai OpenAlex. Ni, OpenAlex. OpenAlex ni dia clean, open source. You just type the search term, nampak boolean ni. Okay, nampak boolean ni. Tapi yang ni, you probably dalam prompt tu, you kena tukar lah. Kalau you tengok my prompt tu, in my prompt, I say Scopus kan. So you can tukar lah. Okay, OpenAlex. So dia akan ikut. Dan yang bahagian ni you buang. Sebab yang ni untuk Scopus dengan Web of Science only. Okay, so kalau saya nak demonstrate sekejap, untuk kalau yang guna ni, kalau you dah paste yang Scopus ni, you can say do one for OpenAlex. Most of this LLM dia akan faham lah all these major tool. So nampak, I'll adapt the Scopus logic into OpenAlex compatible search strategy. So dia tahu there's the limitation ni kalau kita cuba. Tunggu dia siap dulu. Okay, saya dah ada yang ni. Kita cuba tak tahulah dapat ke tak ni. Kalau tak, boleh buang yang ni. Okay, paste. And then enter. Dapat tak? Nampak tak dapat. So that means you kena buat satu-satu lah. Buang yang ni. Buat dia ni. Buang yang ni. Okay, sepatutnya boleh. I think maybe sebab ni kot. Oh, kena API sebenarnya. Put the keyword lah. Yang ni you kena buat keyword lah kalau OpenAlex. But OpenAlex kalau you search pun, apa nama, more general mungkin tak suka lah. Contohlah delete, buat sampai ni dulu just to show you. Kita tak cukup masa ni. Just to show you. Kalau boolean term ni macam ni lah kan. Okay. Clean up nanti. I think yang ni kalau I buat lah clock lagi lah. Cuma clock tengah busy tu. I tak nak kacau. Let's see whether jadi. Tak, buang yang ni. Buang belakang ni. Wildcard. Oh, lupa. Dia tak guna wildcard. Betul juga. Buang wildcard ni. Wildcard tu wajib saja. So, untuk Scopus. I think ada lagi wildcard? Tak ada lah. Tak dapat lagi sebab dia tak nak ni. Banyak ni. Okay, tak apalah. So, kalau macam tu, kalau you nak, you ambil, do a clean keyword list. Sekejap. Mana main ni? Hilang lah. Sekejap. Okay, do a clean list. I think this one dia bagi, betul dia dah bagi clean list pun kat sini. Kan dia dah bagi clean list pun. Do a clean list pun boleh. Kan? Kalau you tak dapat guna yang boolean yang ada all the symbol, you just do a clean list sajalah. Sama je sebenarnya. Macam ni. Okay. Let's try a few dulu sebab boolean ni dia, OpenAlex ni dia bergantung kepada kestabilan API dia. Kita try dapat ke tak. Alright, kita try. Alright, okay. Hopefully dapat.
Yeah.
Try adjusting a filter. No result ni. Okay. Sources. Adalah. Tapi yang ni sources secara umum. Okay. OpenAlex ni dia open source saja. Dia macam Semantic Scholar lah. Cuma most journal kalau you nak buat SLR atau Bibliometric ni memang dia tak berapa suka lah you guna ni. So you better use kalau dapat access to Scopus dengan web browser lah. Kalau nak buat ni boleh. Kalau rasa tadi bulan tu tak work kan, you just type the keyword lah tanpa ni. Just bagi keyword je. Just give the keyword and dia akan filter lah. Cuma dia punya interface ni dia macam ni lah. Contoh kan, klik kan, then klik export atas ni, download. Okay. Cuma dia simple sikit and then dia open source. Alright. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Okay, kita tengok yang ni cloud tadi. So kita suruh dia download kan, nampak tak ni? Dia dah download semua ni. Kan dia dah download semua ni. Maksudnya kalau yang ni saya tak letak dalam tu lah, tapi dia kalau saya guna yang normal chat ni, kalau you guna Cowork, kalau cloud ni you guna Cowork kan, contoh kan desktop ni, semua ni paper yang I suruh top 20 tu dia dah download for me. Kalau saya pergi ke Cowork ni, saya boleh tetapkan folder juga. Dia download semua paper tu dalam folder. Lagi cantik kalau if you use Claude to help you for that process lah. Alright. So this is how we make use of kind of AI tool to help us search lah. Okay, alright.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
But I cannot see your screen.
I think, is it?
You are presenting, but I cannot see your screen.
I think the screen is there, right? Anyone else cannot see my screen?
The screen is okay. The screen is okay.
Okay. Mungkin loading kot. Loading. Mungkin loading. Okay.
Maybe line Ustazah Wawa tak berapa okay kot.
Kalau tak nanti boleh tengok di rakaman lah kot. Okay.
Ya, boleh tengok di recording dekat YouTube ya.
Okay. So yang ni kan I suruh dia download first nanti tu. So dia dah bagi, tapi dia dah help me summarize sekali. So Claude ni bila kita dah have all this, is easier for us to do the next thing lah. Ni contoh saya filter to 20. Tapi sebolehnya you download according to what you want tadi lah. 200 tu. Kalau you limit to 200, make sure you download the whole 200. Kalau you limit to 100, you go for 100. SLR usually like I said, if you narrow down and all that screening, that will be you know, about 30 to 50 last number lah. But now I belum suruh dia screen lagi, then sepatutnya before you even ask it to download kan, or even before you decide the top 200 untuk di download tu, you can also set the screening. So screen using this inclusion or exclusion criteria. Contohlah kan, so you list lah kalau ada inclusion criteria, mesti ada children. Okay, and then inclusion criteria mesti ada involve contoh parent. You nak ada yang kajian tu ada kaitan dengan parent, so you list your inclusion. Exclusion, contoh ada satu lagi maybe only, tapi kita dah filter semua tu, English semua tu, so kita tak sebut lagi. Another inclusion criteria maybe apa nama, the age kan, kalau you nak. Ya, kalau tak pun boleh letak kat sini pun, age ataupun ni. Contoh kan, age. Okay, I'm gonna put 8 to 12. Contoh lah kan. Okay, contoh. Exclusion maybe, you can say non-Asian country, contoh. Okay. Yang ni is just another level of screening. Sebelum kita involve human screening lah, ada satu level lagi screening tu, kita involve human untuk judge paper tu relevant ke tak. So kita just suruh dia filter. Bukan screening ni, screen. Tak apalah, dia faham kau. Okay. You get what I mean? So we are actually following the same steps until we're doing it here now. Alright. And then kita akan assess for eligibility ni usually involve human jugalah. Tapi AI dah buat tadi, so you treat AI as a macam second apa nama, eligible reviewer dah, and then you add another human. Usually jangan report journal dia tak buy lah kalau you rely on AI alone lah. You tak boleh kata, oh I use AI to filter for me. You have to involve another peer lah kan, untuk decide sama ada paper tu boleh masuk ke tak. Okay, contoh final tu you dah decide let's say 30, contoh 30, tapi bila you evaluate sesama kawan atau your peer, ada paper yang di exclude. Sebab kita yang baca kan, bila kita baca, oh actually this paper tak ada kaitan pun, dia fokus benda lain. Tajuk dia, keyword tu ada tapi dia fokus benda lain, so kita remove. So you have to put lah. Contoh reason number 1 ni, satu yang dikeluarkan. Contoh apa dia? Contoh reason 1 ni apa nama, conceptual limited data, contoh, because you focus kat empirical punya kan, contoh. So dia konsep je, sikit je dia bagi, so you all decided to exclude. Both of you kena agree lah kan. And then I know another reason. So all this, contoh lah total tadi kan, contoh you dah narrow tadi tu, dah 20, lepas tu all this dipotong-potong, tinggal 15. Alright. Kalau report ni usually kita include semualah 15 contoh. Faham maksud saya kan? You see the flow now. So that's why this is called systematic literature review. You mula dengan identification yang banyak-banyak tu. Lepas tu kita narrow down lah. So the process from here until here ni, in fact writing pun boleh. So you can use AI to help you lah. Saya gunakan AI yang biasa macam ChatGPT dan Claude sebab dia lagi senang nak tu. And based on my experience, Claude lagi detail. But if you want to use the one yang I letak dalam my website tu, kalau dalam my website ni I ada letak apa nama tadi, ni Ryan, ni kalau you nak try, you can try. I have usually before dia jadi commercial ni, Ryan was quite good. Tapi bila dia dah bila dia berbayar ni, kita hanya upload 10 sekali je, nampak ni. Dia akan benarkan kita upload 10. Dia jadi macam leceh sikit. Sekejap, bukan yang ni. Yang ni, Ryan kan? Ryan, nampak tak dia tak free lagi. Kalau pricing ni pun, dia bagi 3 je. Walaupun dia kata free for all, 3 je. And then you only can invite 2 other to check kan. Tapi it's a good platform kalau you nak try lah. I probably tak nak promote sangat sebab now we can use the free tools. Okay. This is something for you to explore lah kalau ada kalau yang berminat nanti. Okay. Kita dah habis SRR sebenarnya. Sebab sampai ke writing tu, the writing part, you just follow the Prisma checklist. Dalam my ni, ada Prisma reporting. You ikut je dia punya checklist in terms of, what do you have. Contoh kan, kalau you download checklist ni kan, dia ada checklist ni. I buka PDF lah. Nampak? So, kita ikut je. Title kena ada ni and all this. Kalau nak mudah, you can download this. Bukan nak mudah, nak draft awal, you can pergi ke download yang tu, contoh yang ni dah siap semua ni, dia dah buatkan semua ni, all the exclusion criteria semua dia dah buat, clock ni, then you upload, mana tadi yang Prisma ni, kan, Prisma checklist ni, okay, so you can say draft a full SLR, manuscript, based on this checklist, put placeholder, kita bagi placeholders for parts without information. Okay, so kadang-kadang kita belum siap lagi sebab kita still kena write some parts, but what you can do is kalau dah ada the kerangka tu, kita boleh upload saja checklist ni. Cloud akan buatkan satu full one dengan the draft. So kita tahu kita nak isi apa dalam tu. Faham maksud saya kan? Sebab kalau sepatutnya kita yang ikut ni kan, title, abstract, I find this very useful sebab senang, kita tak perlu risau our SRR tu miss out whatever here. Contoh ada things yang kita tak perlu pun kan. So when you upload the checklist macam ni, Cloud akan faham, okay, you nak buat SRR based on Prisma 2020 and he's going to help you, it's going to help you to generate like a draft, so you tahulah mana nak letak kan. And then sebab kita dah ada info-info atas ni, dia akan isi mana yang kita ada dululah kan, contoh. Tapi kita belum bagi the detail in full form. Okay? Yang ni kalau you buat di Cloud cantik, kalau you buat di ChatGPT tak sangat. But you can try Those yang maybe yang subscribe to ChatGPT, you can try lah. I'm not saying that it's totally bad, but depend on your tu. Okay? Now, what happened now is in SLR, of course, when you report the findings, usually you have the table kan, you can list out everything. So Cloud can do that as well in terms of reporting. But because you dah upload the checklist for it, don't forget to generate the Prisma Flow. So Prisma Flow, this website or this app is really, really useful. Dia masih percuma. You just have to upload the flow package ni ataupun statement tu, right? Ni dah kalau you nak lah. Flow statement ni kalau you dah okay, then you upload ni loading. Ni template ni. Okay, template CSV tu. You isi je contoh apa yang you remove all the reason ni, right? All the reason, and then you pergi here, you upload balik, right? And then dia akan buat the flow diagram. Nampak? Okay, so kalau you malas sampai ke tahap nak buat sendiri ni, you suruh Cloud buatkan lah. Tapi make sure in the flow of conversation dia kena tahu lah. So suruh dia isikan all the detail dalam ni template ni. Mana tadi? Yang flow diagram ni. Yang ni. Kan? Sebab dia akan bagi tahu berapa yang you exclude kan, so kosong-kosong semua ni kan. So you kena bagi nombor lah kan, you letak je nombor tu, all the database yang you guna, and then you upload balik kat ni, and then you tekan create flow diagram, you akan keluar lah cantik-cantik macam ni. Yang ni lah nanti you akan masuk dalam your SRR paper sebab dia wajib ada. Okay? Alright? So kalau lah you rasa nak edit, edit lah tapi ni pun boleh kan. Contoh lah database tu 2, kan, register 1, contoh ni 00 citation ada berapa letak, so bla bla. Tapi you kena edit lah yang ni. Okay, alright, so that's one way to do it. Tapi kalau tak nak, boleh buat sendiri, just draw on your own. Okay, that is one part of it. Biar dia buat dulu, sambil-sambil dia buat ni, saya pergi ke Bibliometric. Okay, so for those yang mungkin belum cuba Bibliometric, it's one way to cuba. Mana my slide ni? Sekejap, ada question tak dari SLR? Okay, kita dah terlanjak sikit ni, tak apa. SLR ada masalah, ada question tak? Nanti bila you dapat, actually dah ada dalam website ni. Dalam slide ni memang dalam website tu Ni website ni tadi. This link tadi ni. Right? everything is here. If you go to resources, the slide is here. Okay, just download the same thing lah actually. Just put it there. Okay, tapi kalau you nak copy prompt tu semua kat dalam link-link ni. Semua prompt ni ada kat sini. Mana? Kan, all the prompt to help you lah. Tak payahlah tiru 100%. If you think you have a better way of prompting, go ahead lah. This is just a guide for you to use it. Okay, bibliometric. For those yang mungkin tak pernah buat lagi bibliometric, ramai suka buat bibliometric sebab dia lagi, I wouldn't say senang. Dia macam mana? Reporting style dia lebih broad sebab dia nak check evolution over time, development over time. So dia tak terhad sangat ke limited punya study. Kalau SRR ni, when we review and all that kan, we have to be more detailed of what we are comparing. So it has to be based on research question yang jelas lah. Tapi kalau kita buat bibliometric, you can see here, kita fokus kepada what does the field look like. Sebab tu bibliographic ni, banyak pandangan lah. Ada yang kata kena sampai 500 and all that. But ideally, it's about 300 to 500 sources yang kena cari. So, bibliometrik ni tak sesuai kalau topik yang kita cari tu tak banyak kajian. Contohlah tadi, kita jumpa 1000 lebih, yang tu cun. Tapi kalau kita jumpa setakat beratus-ratus, contoh maybe 100 something, maybe 200 pun agak kecil sebab kita belum filter lagi tu. Kan? So bibliometrik itu sesuai, kita nak tengok trend untuk data-data yang bukan data, bilangan kajian yang besar, wider scope. Sebab tu kalau you tengok bibliometrik punya paper, usually number dia besar. Kalau kecil, okay, cuma you have to give your justification lah kenapa you are doing bibliometrik for a small sample ataupun small amount of paper. Sebab kalau small amount of paper, small amount of kajian lebih sesuai buat SLR ataupun scoping review. Kan? So that is one way. Boleh So just to let you know. And then very typically for bibliometry, you akan nampak rajah-rajah macam ni lah kan. Macam-macam ni. Tapi yang ni yang paling popular lah. I mean tool ni. This tool. Dia macam-macam rajah lah you nak tunjuk trend and all this. Because paper bibliometrik ni memang tentang trend kan. You nak tengok kajian the trend in that field. It's not so much about reporting the implication ke and all that. Kalau SRR tu kita boleh discuss lagi detail sebab we are picking a small number of studies. Tapi kalau bibliometrik ni memang nak tengok trend je. That's why bibliometrik ni sangat popular in sciences and even in economics and businesses kan, sebab data tu banyak kan, you nak compare and then you don't have time to really go into detail. You just want to see the trends saja kan, the overall development. Okay? Let's go to sikit just to let everyone know. So the process hampir sama, yang bezanya kalau kita perasan ni, dia ada bahagian ni lah. Sebab dia data tu besar sangat, the bilangan paper besar sangat, kita lebih suka kalau ada visualization. Tapi kalau kita baca betul-betul kan, tak adalah kata wajib kena letak banyak visual. Cuma dah jadi macam trend, setiap kali kita tengok bibliometric paper, mesti banyak visual-visual kan. Tapi kalau kita visual tu pun visual yes, linkage by country, by author, semua boleh je buat table. Tapi dah macam trend dah. Setiap kali nak tengok uban tu, kita nak tengok all the network map kan, networking map. Okay, so but okay lah, sebab that's the beauty of bibliometric, sebab the visualization help you to see the overall global trend of a situation or a topic, a context or a location, terpulang apa yang kita nak buat. Okay, yang ni yang saya kata tadi lah Open Alex tu. Yang ni, kalau kita tak familiar dengan bibliometric, you can use this tool yang popular ni. Cuma yang ni kan, yang tengah ni, dia bergantung kepada R. Kalau yang pernah install bibliometric ni, okay lah, you kena install R. Dia ada ikut guna Python untuk install. So ramai yang mungkin keliru sikit yang ni. Tapi kalau ada masa, you can go for the web one. Cuma sekarang ni saya perasan yang Bibo Shiny ni kalau kita pergi kan, dia macam ada masalah sikit dari segi dia punya mungkin dia limit apa nama? Ni pula ni main ni. Ni. Dia mungkin dia limit IP. Saya perasan lah internet kita. Sebab ada a few time I masuk guna nampak tak dia tak dapat masuk ni. I don't know whether you can anyone go in maybe bibliometric. You search je Bibo Shiny. But I cannot send chat lah, sorry. dalam ni Google Meet dia kata your message wasn't delivered. Maybe saya orang luar. But you can search lah, search ni, search. Cuba search. Nampak? Lately dia jadi macam ni. I have issue with it lah. So, and then dia macam ada kacau sikit. But tapi kerja dia sebenarnya, dia tolong you visualize and all that. But kita dah buat proses yang sama. Okay, sekejap saya terangkan balik Mana slide saya ni. So yang ni kalau ada masa explore. Tapi yang ni wajib. Yang ni wajib to me lah. Dia percuma open source ni. Cuma yang ni mungkin you tak boleh buat sekarang kalau you tak ada. You don't have this software. You have to install Voice Viewer ni free. Cuma you kena install dululah. Sekejap saya tunjuk. Mana dah. Okay. Bila you download nanti, dia dalam bentuk zip ni. Kalau saya dah cuba untuk show sebab takut nanti you tak. Apa nama? Voice Viewer ni. Yang ni. Kan? Voice Viewer, search sahaja.com. Yang ni kan nampak macam rumit tau. Nampak macam, complicated. Nanti I tunjuk to you. Okay. Right. So, you can download ni. Tekan je download ni. Jangan risau nampak macam complicated scientific study ni. Sebenarnya dia sangat friendly. Okay, download dulu. So, kalau depending on which version you're using, you just download lah. Kalau you Windows boleh. Mac boleh. Yang ni for other system. Yang contoh yang Linux and all this kan. Tapi dia kata you akan be prompted usually yang ni untuk Microsoft lah. Kalau Mac ni boleh direct start. But if kalau ada prompt you kena download install ni Java version 8, install sekejap, kemudian boleh run lah. Ada semua ada kat sini. Kalau dalam link ni ada di bahagian resources. Yang ni. Okay, klik je yang ni, download So bila you download, dia bukan install lah. Dia bukan install terus. Dia dalam bentuk zip file macam ni. Zip file, buka je zip file tu, and then you extract. Okay. Bila you extract, you akan nampak ni. Okay, tutup banyak sangat window. Ni contoh folder dia kan. Then you tekan je yang ni. If this is your first time kan, kalau dalam window, dia akan keluar warning Kalau dalam window dia akan keluar warning. So kita tekan more of info, lepas tu kita kata run anyway. Dia jadi macam ni. Faham maksud saya kan? Boleh? Ni kan, bila kita klik ni, kalau first time you klik lah kan, kalau window, dia akan keluar warning tu kan, don't run. Tapi tekan je more info tu, yang merah tu, then dia kata run anyway. Run je lah, tak ada masalah. Sebab yang ni kan, Windows sekarang kan dia tak benarkan software diinstall luar daripada Microsoft Store. So dia akan keluar warning macam tu. So saya tekan yang ni. Actually software ni kan, saya kesian kat software ni lah. Sebab kalau software ni, dia punya perception tu ramai tengok macam susah sangat software ni. Tapi yang ni dia nampak macam complicated kan. Okay. Now, kita ulang proses ni. Scopus, kita dah cari search term ni. Kalau nak remit lagi kan, mana-mana yang dah limit, go ahead. Let's say I limit kita ambil yang ni je lah, psychology lah. Contoh saja, limit to psychology. Okay. Dan saya akan export ni. Dia dah limit ke belum ni? Belum. Oh yes, but I guna advanced dah. Okay, dia dah limit ni, nampak? Dah 200. So I go to export. Alright, so I akan export in CSV. And then saya kena tekan maximum 209. Contoh lah kan. So I just ni, as usual kita ambil yang ni, jangan lupa ambil juga abstract and keyword Okay, take these two parts and then export. Okay, yang tak ada access to Scopus nanti you have to try other database Asalkan you boleh export in CSV kan? Asalkan you boleh export in CSV. That's why ramai yang bila you guna Google Scholar dia leceh sikit. Google Scholar ni bab ni memang susah sikit. So you have to search and then download one by one. Okay, untuk yang tak faham apa saya kata ni. Google Scholar kan. Kalau yang contohnya tak ada access. Yang ni kan. Bila you search anything lah. Contoh saya nak search machine learning. Ambil yang ni lah tadi. Okay. Kan contoh I search yang ni kan. Right. So kan bila you nak filter ni kan berjuta ni kan. Berjuta kan. So then you have to let's say 2020, 2025 search. dia akan limit atas ni kan, masih berjuta juga ni kan. And then maybe kena tambah keyword lagi, Malaysia contoh kalau you nak buat di Malaysia. Alright, and then schools contoh, bagi je keyword macam tu. Alright, nak and all semua tu you try lah nampak dia makin kurang. Sebab tu ramai tak berapa suka Google Scholar sebab dia kan crop everything. So isu dia adalah you leceh sikit lah you nak filter ni kan. So which is why people prefer proper database macam ni kan. And then the good thing is database ni dia dah filter lah kan mana yang tak dapat download and all that. So kita dah ada CSV kita ni, so I'm gonna buka CSV ni kan. Dia kata apa ni, convert large number, don't convert, okay, large number. So you nak rename pun boleh, contoh I rename lah I rename apa nama, desktop, okay, screen time screen time kan, Scopus, but limit to psychology effect lah contoh. Okay, apa-apa saja just name, asalkan you tahu yang mana satu yang you tengah guna. Then you buka VSO ni, bila dah install ni, VSO macam ni kan. Cara paling senang nak generate terus, just go to create. Kenapa dia pop up kat sini? Okay. Nampak kan? Okay, dia ada create a map based on network data, create a map based on bibliographic data, create a map based on text data. Kalau kita jenis kumpul data text, kalau yang suka buat kualitatif, you can do that as well. Because VSO ni boleh tolong you visualize, but we prefer yang ni lah. Create a map based on bibliographic data. Sebab kita download yang bibliographic tadi kan. So tekan next. Nampak tak? Dia ada real data from API. Kalau ada API. Ni yang daripada database file tadi kan, Web of Science semua tu. Ataupun you upload manual macam all these reads and note yang you ada tu. You ada Mendeley and everything kan, ada format reads tu, download saja tu. Yang ni saya guna yang ni. Sebab kita Scopus kan. Scopus, tekan next. Dan pergi ke tab Scopus ni, cari je file tadi tu. Mana tadi? Cari je yang kita dah download tadi tu, yang dah filter ni. Yang ni kan, screen time Scopus. Okay, tekan OK. Lepas tu dia pun mulalah proses bila kita tekan next. Belum. Sebab belum decide. Okay, untuk yang bagi tak tahu, bibliometric ni we try to find trend. So biasanya kita cari trend ikut author, who are they collaborating. Kita tengok juga co-occurrences dari segi author keyword ataupun index, right, keyword. And yang citation ni sebab data tu mungkin tak lengkap, tak ada yang citation, so kita tak dapat check lah. Tapi kalau make sure data tu ada all the citation, guna macam publish and perish tu, dia boleh list all the citation, cari semua. Or you ask AI to help you to fill up the citation count, tapi kena check. Then you can do this. But biasanya lah, you akan nampak people go for co-occurrence. I tunjuk co-occurrence dulu, co-authors dulu, and then mana tadi? Yang ni. Okay, tekan finish nampak. Kenapa 3 je ni? Sebab our data salah upload ke ni? Sekejap Mana satu ni I download, betul kan? Betul ni kan? 500 ke saya salah upload ni? Okay, create a map, next. Website betul. Yalah, takut data salah. Let me try tadi yang ni. Kenapa 3? Oh, co-authorship ni sebab co-author ada 3. Betul lah. Kini kita tengok co-authorship kan. Aduh. Co-authorship ni dia co-author saja. Untuk field ni sebab kita dah limit tadi kan. Sikit jadinya kan. That's why untuk bibliografi ni jangan ambil 200. Kena ambil yang besar sikit. Sekejap. Let me try cari yang ni lagi. Nampak tak ni co-authorship. So kalau you nak country, contoh country. Yang apa nama? By country. Alright. Ataupun by authors. Terpulang. Yang ni dia akan kata maximum number of countries per document. You can set lah. Yang ni sepatutnya lain sikit. Hopefully lah. Let's see. Nampak? Okay. So kita dah buat by, nampak ni. Dia bila kita buat bibliographic mapping macam ni, dia akan bagi tahu kajian ni daripada contoh kalau kajian daripada Malaysia ni sikit, and then dia link dengan mostly ni je. Malaysia somehow rujuk to most of this. Yang ni pula rujuk to most of this. The paper lah kan, the linkage between the paper yang kita dah dapat tu. Alright. So you can see most of the papers are from this area lah. In United States. Kalau you nak adjust all this thing, you adjust kat sini saja. Alright. This is one way of putting the mapping. Kalau you tak suka this type, you can go for overlay visualization, or you suka density punya visualization. Yang ni kita selalu nampak yang dalam paper mostly this type lah kan. You can also go by keyword kan, go for this one. Next, upload the yang search ni yang you dah jumpa tadi. Next, and then you can go for contoh co-occurrence, go for index keyword. Okay, index keyword. Kalau ada specific terms tu, you nanti try to map lah kan. Finish. Nampak? So dalam paper-paper yang kita ada ni, yang kita 200 lebih kan. So the main keyword is screen time lah, of course. Kenalah kan. Tapi bila you go deeper, you akan nampak, you know, the second one is human, child, female, adolescent, cross-sectional. So you can start, you know, do a bit of overview lah, bibliometric ni. Kan, dalam jumlah paper yang jumpa, most of the keywords are, you know, related to gender, and maybe the widely used instrument is actually questionnaire sebab mostly buat cross-sectional study kan. Tak ada yang buat control study. Nampak? Control study tu tak banyak. Pasti adalah. So this is like, and then major clinical pun tak banyak. So it depends on how you see, but tapi nampak color-color tu, you can see the color are, you know, the linkage in terms of that, you know, the scope, right? And then this is more on the different area lah. Nampak ni, dia tolong kita mapkan semua ni. Okay, so patutnya lah kan, bila kita buat bibliometric, when you do this kind of visualization, dia membantu kita untuk visualize our data in detail. Tapi biasanya sekarang ni trend, bila kita tulis bibliometric is very general kalau you perasan. Then only the implication you will write better by saying that, contoh kalau ikut mapping ni lah kan, contoh even tadi yang the co-authorship tu, you boleh kata kurang kajian dibuat di Malaysia, to justify that point lah. Ataupun you kata kalau kajian yang dibuat sekarang ni mostly is based upon what type of methodology, tak banyak yang buat methodology tu, sebab tu lah you nak buat methodology tu. Contoh lah, if you want to use this as a justification, implication for whatever you have done. Sebab tu ramai yang buat bibliometric sebelum you buat method. Sebab the bibliometric can give you the idea, method yang sesuai. Faham? Maksudnya di sini, kalau topik-topik macam ni, ramai yang buat cross-sectional mesti ada sebab dia. So, in your case, bila you buat your own method or your study, or I want to do cross-sectional, and senang you nak justify. Right? So your bibliometric analysis has told you a lot about the trend. Okay, yang ni data saya kecil lah. Kalau boleh, maybe kita ambil data besar nanti. Sekejap. Ada masa sikit. So contoh kalau saya tak nak filter ni. Sebab the reason why I filter ni sebab I takut dia lama je sebenarnya. Takut dia makan masa kan, sebab masa kita tak panjang. So tapi kalau you nak try lah. One thing I like about this, kalau you follow the step I've showed here, yang untuk guna this ni, atas ni, you can get more lah kan, and I mean, or you can filter more. So I akan ambil yang 1008 ni again. So I akan export as CSV. So I akan ambil ke semuanya. I will take everything. Apa tadi? 1008 kan. Okay. And then take this one, export. Tunggu dia export lah. Okay, sambil-sambil ni export, kita tengok tukar tu dah siap ke belum. Nampak? Dia dah buat satu placeholder. Yang merah-merah tu kita akan tambah. Dia dah buat draft tu. Nampak? Okay, so this is the placeholder lah orang panggil. Placeholder means dia dah kind of guide you. Yang ni kena nanti tukar flowchart yang betul lah kan. Alright, and what to put, whatever. So this is your first like raw draft lah untuk you isi. Okay, the next step of course, you kena isi lah semua ni. Actually, kalau boleh lah kan, if you really want to use the whole process daripada awal, the reason why I don't start that way sebab I know tak ramai yang subscribe. Sebab kalau subscribe, advantage dia lain sikit. So what you do is sebenarnya, kalau you guna co-work ni, kalau you nak buat proper literature review semua ni, you go for co-work, you start project ni. Kan, you mulakan project ni. Contoh I start a new project, I start from scratch. Contoh SRR for screen time. And then I letak lah to draft a manuscript for screen time. Contoh lah kan. And then all the file here, you letak semualah. Contoh format, Prisma checklist, format checklist, format paper, and then your CSV tadi tu yang you dah screen, and then your type in your research question semua tu, you letak je dalam folder ni. Okay, contohlah kan, I drag semua ni yang I jumpa, yang I dah have kan. Mana tadi? Mana tadi ni? Kita download lah. Download. Okay dah. Yang ni Prisma diagram kan. Letak je lah mana-mana yang berkaitan. Okay. And then the checklist tadi. Hilang pula. Yang ni checklist. Kan. All the files that relevant for your process of writing this. And in fact, you can even create a folder untuk download semua artikel tu. Letak je dalam ni. And then create. The beauty is, dia tak upload pun paper, all the documents sebab dia dalam your desktop ataupun your PC. Kan. So dalam ni, folder ni semua dalam ni. So it's easier for you to draw dari awal, so dia boleh isi terus mana yang kosong tu. Okay, alright. So nanti ada masa boleh cuba yang 4 ni lah. Sebab yang ni kena bayar kena subscribe baru dapat the core work ni. Faham maksud saya kan? Okay, that's one of the best way to draft. I think to me kan, one of the challenges to write is to start. Fortunately we have AI now to help us start dulu. So macam bila dah ada draft tu, now I know, so I can isi all this part yang itu, lepas tu keep on refining. Because to start tu yang selalu susah tu kan. Once you have it, then it will be easier. Okay, so I downloaded the CSV just now, so I'm going to start again. So create, I'm going to create a map now again. So ni, next, so I'm going to choose Scopus Scopus, download, and then mana export ni? Sekali je sekejap lah. Dah keluar pula. Okay, apa nama? 2086. Okay, 86 yang ni. Okay, yang ni finish. Sepatutnya lagi inilah. Yes. Yang ni yang author kan, I pilih tadi kan. Yang ni author, sebab co-authorship ni tak banyak lah. Co-authorship maksudnya paper yang author itu sama. We are not looking at that. Salah pilih ni tadi. I am looking at ni. Mana? Next ni. I am looking at index keyword. And index keyword. Okay, next. Nampak dia akan tanya ni, minimum number occurrences for keyword. Kalau orang banyak sangat ni, banyak keyword ni, so maybe kena limit lah. You ambil yang minimum 10 contoh kan. Keyword tu minimum kena ada 10 kali dimension baru you list kan, contoh. Then you will have a more diverse punya pool lah kan. So still lah you can see, because your topic kan, my topic ni kan screen time, of course human tu kena besar, and you can see questionnaire ni popular kan. So you can also reverse, you can say like, okay, since most of the studies 1000 lebih ni, most of them guna questionnaire and clinical study on that, you want to look at qualitative point of view. That helps you to justify your research. Why are you going for quali? You are not going for quanti, if you can back it up. But of course the safer way is, sebab ramai dah guna quanti, guna questionnaire, I pun guna questionnaire lah. Contoh. I mean just asking you to do. So bila kita dah siap ni sebenarnya, right, then you can export or screenshot ni. And usually screenshot, dia akan screenshot for you, pop up keluar macam ni, and just save the screenshot anywhere. Screenshot ni lah nanti yang akan you letak dalam your paper and all this. But if you want to highlight certain trend kan, you can point it dulu baru you screenshot pun boleh kan. Right? But this one for the 10 tadi maybe too low lah, kena bagi banyak sikit sebab ada yang tak ada langsung di ni. Bego, Juvenal. Okay, alright. Or if you want to have different set of data, like I said, next. Go next dulu, jangan tekan finish, tekan next. Tadi I tekan finish terus. So you can look at other things. Tadi mana tadi ni dihilang. Cuba yang ni sekali lagi nampak tak minimum number of document of an author, kita dah set 2. Sebab tu yang tadi kan, kenapa dia jadi sikit tu, I letak 4. So minimum dia kena 4 author. Memang sikit lah kan. So maybe kena minimum 2 ataupun 1 kalau nak, tapi 2 lah co-authorship kan, co-authorship. So now you have a better view lah kalau co-authorship ni kan. Sepatutnya lah, tapi solo pun okay. Now this trend, why? Kenapa kita perlukan this kind of trend kalau authorship ni? Most bibliometric paper dia akan bagi tahu, nampak tak ni? Dia akan nampak siapa yang dominant in the field. Kan? So contoh paper ni dengan paper ni. or even these two. So this paper is influencing this gang and then this gang, and this one macam you know body setting each other lah kan. So yeah, nampak dia bukan saja they are not collaborating with each other. So dalam this field ni, topik saya ni screen time ni, screen time memang children semua ni tak ramai yang researcher yang collaborate yang co-collaborate. So mostly maybe solo. But kalau collaboration, nama-nama ni lah nanti. So basically kalau you buat review, you akan pilih nama-nama ni lah nanti. You're picking the famous ones. And kalau you do your own review, you know, like one by one. So you can pick most of their papers. Okay? Alright, so this is by author. Kalau nak, once you have this, you can also go by, you know, your keyword tadi lah. Kan? Yang ni, citation dah ni, it depends on the data you download tadi kan, you kena clean up dulu lah ni. Nampak ni? Sebab ada yang tak ada citation. Kan? Okay? Alright, so usually we use the publish and perish tu untuk dia tolong kita filter kan. Kalau ada masa nanti you explore yang tu. Okay, ada any question untuk ni? So bila dah your visual semua dah siap, kalau you perasan sama je, you still have to report this sebab the same process of identification, the same process of screening tu has to be done. Cuma there's another layer of visualization. Kalau tak silap Prisma pun ada for bibliometric. Sekejap, ada kat mana dah ke? I terlepas. Let's say, we just type Prisma statement for Biblo. Yang ni. Dia ada dia punya tapi should be in the same thing lah. Cuma dia ada part tu, dia kena part yang you visualize tu, you have to explain what visualization tool you use. Okay? Maybe dalam ni kot. Expanded checklist. Nanti check kalau ada tak. Bahagian yang you extract, you visualize tu yang lain sikit kan. But the same process is the same identification, search and everything, and then you write out the whole writing tu. Sama je. Okay. Cuma if in terms of SRR papers and bibliometric paper, reviewer akan attack your method lah. Memang akan attack your method, but before they attack your method, of course they will attack the relevance. Kenapa you nak buat this SRR? Contoh kalau dah banyak buat SRR ni, kenapa you nak buat? So first step is you can also ask AI kalau nak, just to get an idea, you know, like ask it to search for like the current review papers yang ada in this area. Is it still worth it for you to go deeper? Ataupun tadi kalau you guna my tip tadi tu yang Pico and Spider tu, this one. This is a good way to know lah. But especially cloud punya tu. ChatGPT pun okay yang ni. This one will kind of guide you whether scope tu berbaloi ke tak, you go deeper. And you can add the question, is it, you know, worth reviewing kan? So dia akan bantulah. Tapi janganlah percaya bulat-bulat dengan AI. AI ni pun just bantu saja. So maybe dia ada juga kelemahan dia. So but you yourself have to go and read all this trend and see why are you you know, reviewing this kan. Like I said tadi lah, macam I was trying to find a review pasal the topic that I want, which is the one about I said just now, theoretical foundation that people use when they do DDR and all this. Bila dia buat software semua tu, ada tak dia refer to a theoretical framework? And I duk cari, tak ada yang betul-betul buat, you know, pasal the app lah. Mostly buat secara umum. Contoh kan, ramai akan kata dia guna gamification lah, dia guna constructivist lah. Tapi bila kita baca betul paper tu, dia tak sebut pun cara dia guna tu. You know what I mean? Dia kata dia guna constructivism, tapi bila dia develop, dia tak link pun mana part yang constructivism tu. So you don't know, right? So it makes you wonder, ada tak kajian-kajian yang betul-betul spesifik? So that makes me want to do that review. Lepas tu lah saya buat SRR for that particular topic. And then I found out, memang ada kajian yang buat secara sistematik, dia siap terang dah. Kalau you guna this theory, this is the part of the design that I link. So this review membantulah. Lepas tu that SRR pun highly cited. So when you do the right SRR, it will be highly cited because people need to know as well. Macam kita yang nak cari tapi eventually kita menyumbang kepada kelompongan tu, itulah the gap that we found. Okay? Alright. So any question? Alright. Boleh? Yang ni kita SR dengan bibliometric lah. Tapi kalau nak go deeper, I have to be honest with you, like I said pada awal, I'm not the expert, you know. There are so many experts out there. Macam kalau bibliometric, you should always follow Dr. Aidil, you know, yang search for his workshop and all this. Dia lagi detail lah. My sharing is based on what I do, you know, using all these tools to assist the process. Kan? Masing-masing ada cara masing-masing lah kan. But you know, I'm not saying that you can ikut Syed my style. Okay? Ada soalan? Oh, okay, ada soalan.
Good evening, Doktor.
Yes.
Boleh tak saya nak tahu macam mana tadi doktor cakap step kedua adalah data cleaning untuk bibliometrik. So kalau kita guna BOS viewer tu, macam mana kita nak buat data cleaning?
BOS dia tak dapat buat cleaning secara detail, I think, sebab dia dah this part dah part visualization dah. So sebolehnya data cleaning tu kita buat before we reach this stage lah, seboleh-bolehnya. So yang ni kan dia just visualize apa yang kita dah finalize. So usually kita akan terus filter awal lah. So yang ni tadi sepatutnya kita do the proper way of screening where ada orang sama-sama dengan kita peer review lah in a way. Kita kena decide ni contoh kan, bagi contoh lah kan, sebab yang ni not really a good one. Contoh review 1, review 2 kan, contoh kan. So sepatutnya lah kan manusia yang kena quickly go through ni kan. Cuma bibliometric ni sebab dia banyak data, so kalau dalam BOS viewer ni dia tak dapat tu. Sebab tu yang kita guna satu lagi tu, BiblioShiny tu yang I said tak dapat access tadi tu. Yang tu dia tolong full screen. Yang tu dia tolong screen. Mana satu? Yang ni. Sekejap terlepas. Yang ni, BiblioShiny ni. This one yang sebenarnya tolong kita screen. Cuma now I don't know why I tak dapat show ni. But if you have the time, cuba daftar yang ni yang dia tolong you screen. Alright. Yang visualization tu dah hujung-hujung dah. BOS viewer ni dia you know, my personal experience, kalau you nak filter pun tak banyak sangat parameters yang you can tu kan. Dia hanya filters basic stuff lah. So yang ni kita guna untuk macam visual je. So the filtering tu kalau boleh kita buat awal lah kan, sebelum reach this stage. Yang tool yang selalu orang guna adalah yang ni lah, Webo Metrics. Bibliometrics company, pula yang ni, company ni, cuma I tak tahu kenapa. Ada yang dapat access ke? I don't know what happened these days. Lately dia macam ni. Alright, bibliometric.org. So dalam tu sama juga, kita upload our CSV dan dia akan tolong kita screen based on our inclusion and exclusion criteria lah. Kan? Okay, another way is kita cuba guna cloud pun boleh. Cuma cloud ni I belum uji secara detail lah. Based on current exploration ni nampak okay, dia tolong kita clean. Dia akan bagi tahu macam tadi kalau you tengok the sample I give kan. Mana bukan yang ni, yang chat tadi kan. Dia akan bagi tahu yang mana yang you know kan. Once bukan yang ni. Kan dia dah extract semua tu. Hilang. Atas ni. Oh yang ni sebab I continue kan. Okay, jap, I jawab dulu. Okay, yang atas ni. Okay. Ke yang ni. Yang I tunjuk bila dia filter sekali yang ni. Sebab kan tadi kita buat manuscript terus. So bila dia buat screening ni kan, dia dah tolong kita decide apa yang dia exclude, and even yang the first dia sort ni, dia dah detect dah mana yang ada yang boleh download dan mana yang tak boleh download contoh. So we can use this to help us to check lah mana yang boleh download, mana yang tak boleh download. So it becomes part of the screening process juga. Boleh Okay. So yang BiblioShiny tu I let you to explore. Mana tadi? Yang ni. Bibliometric yang BiblioShiny tu. Kalau dalam banyak tutorial lain, workshop lain pun ada share pasal ni. Cuma I tak tahu kenapa I cannot show you now. But step dia upload your CSV yang you dah search tu untuk screen lah. Dia clean lah mana yang patutnya. Okay. Sebab viewer tu untuk visualization. Ini ada question? Ada Tak ada? Okay. Link ni semua dapat sebab Dia ni. Di belakang ni pun ada lagi. Kalau once you macam bibliometric ni kan, once you dah siapkan the visualization semua tu, you can ask it to interpret for you lah. Macam cluster-cluster tu, you can upload and then all the keywords pun dia tolong you macam I do what I did just now lah, you know. Macam berbola-berbola tu, you will cara you nak explain tu, just in case you perlukan bantuan untuk penerangan, you use this one lah. Kan? Ni kan berbola-berbola ni. Kan? Kalau you tak suka yang ni, you can use the density map, right? Ataupun overlay. Kan? So, yalah. Okay. Any other question? Ada? Tak ada? Ada 15 minit kalau ada soalan, just in case. Mana yang lagi situ? SLR ke Biblo? Mana yang lagi you suka? I think ramai suka SLR kot sebab dia very, you know, very focus. Biblo sebenarnya dia senang in terms of kita tak payah nak kawal sangat, dia beribu-ribu sampai okay. Cuma bila bab nak justify tu kita rasa macam nak justify ni kan, it's very hard to justify why we need to do it, but no harm, you can always show the trend like I said, untuk pilih macam certain period of time duration untuk buktikan something, or a region lah usually kan, area tu. Something happen in that region and then you want to see the trend during that time. Ada tak kajian-kajian yang dibuat? Contoh. Okay. Any other question? Ada? Tak ada habis awal ni cik. Tak adalah kot. Okay. Boleh? So, I pass back to Madam Safia lah untuk sesi seterusnya. Kalau ada sesi seterusnya.
Right, terima kasih Dr. Chua. Okay, thank you so much again Dr. Chua for the insightful and very practical sharing. So saya percaya kurang daripada 2 jam tadi walaupun tempoh masa yang singkat, banyak input lah yang berkaitan tentang tajuk kita pada petang ini, iaitu webinar penyelidikan 2 AI Assisted Systematic Literature Review SLR dan juga Bibliometric Analysis. Jadi yang mana mungkin akan membantu kita dalam melaksanakan kerja-kerja kita berkaitan dengan penyelidikan. Mungkin ada yang malu nak tanya walaupun Dr. Chua itu dah beberapa kali saya rasa dia buka pertanyaan dalam webinar kita. Jadi kalau ada yang malu nak tanya mungkin boleh tulis dalam chat box ke, saya boleh bacakan ke. Ya, jadi mana tahu sekiranya ada ataupun saya masih buka lagi floor kita ini kepada soalan-soalan yang berkaitan. Tak ada, jangan malu untuk bertanya. Okey, mungkin boleh Dr. Chua akan sebab kata kalau di Sarawak tu kita kata kedung ya, kebetulan kita berada di Sarawak, so kita boleh tanya apa-apa yang berkaitan tentang bidang penyelidikan dan saya percaya beliau boleh membantu kita dalam memberi pencerahan pada perkara yang berkaitan. Okey, saya buka. Ada dari rakan-rakan?
Hi, Dr. Chua. Yeah, I have a questions regarding selain kita buat video, is there any good apps that we can use to do the visual data, like chart or any visual data to show that not in table only? Yeah, is there any good apps that we can use?
Oh, this one not for Biblo lah. You're trying to say, right? Bukan untuk Biblo lah.
Not video. Yeah.
Actually, ChatGPT is good at this now. Cuma you have to go for the plus one. But another app that I think a lot of people are using now to visualize your table and everything is that Napkin software. Have you used it? The Napkin app?
I heard of it lah. Haven't tried it.
Kalau if you go for Napkin, I think Napkin.ai. That one is one of the popular one to turn your table into visual lah. Maybe I can do a quick one. This one used to be very infographic lah, but now dia dah buat macam a bit more research based. So yeah, this one. Okay. I think ramai dah guna pun, cuma lately dia dah update, so dia punya research output cantik lagi. You can even prompt and all this. So this is an example I had before lah, but this is text kan. You can actually upload your table. So let me maybe try and upload something here. Let me go for a paper kan. Sekejap. Okay, okay, contoh. If you have a table, okay. If you have a table, you can copy paste the table lah kan. Let me see. This one tak ada pula table. Okay, let's try this lah. Let's try this. But usually table kan, if it's standard reporting, like you know all this statistical analysis, try not to use fancy visual lah kan, janganlah. Sebab dah ada standard dia kan. Contoh kalau kita lapor, you know, your ANOVA and all this, kita try to maintain the same table lah. But if you just need to show some trends, contoh kalau I letak yang ni, I just copy this table, alright, and then I will extract this. Keluar ke tak ni? Okay, tak keluar. Yeah. Oh, I need the text ni. You need the text ya. Dia tak dapat ni. Tak pun I bagi table soft copy. Sekejap. You need it soft copy ya, jangan letak ni sebab I nak soft copy. Table 1 for sample data. Reception. Okay. So I'm gonna go down. Just maybe I start a new one. New napkin pun boleh. Start a new one kan. You start the blank one. And then let's say you have a table like this, you just paste it here. Contoh you have a table here kan, paste your table tu, and then what happen is you tekan the bolt ni, so dia cuba baca and then tukar lah to a different type. And at the moment you can see the AI suggestion here, ada a few type and you can use. I scroll down terlampau laju. Ni belum jana kan? Belum. Okay, refresh up. Sorry. Laju sangat. Yeah, it can be in a chart format and all this lah kan. Contoh kan, dia tengah baca ni. Okay, tekan balik. So napkin is one yang boleh help you to visualize your result in table format. But don't do this for standard don't do this for the standard reporting or statistical analysis lah kan. Contoh kan, you nak buat fancy macam ni, mungkin a bit too slow pula. What happened? Hilang. Okay, sekejap. But you can see just now kan, the you know the fancy type lah. Maybe not so suitable for journal, kecuali kalau you nak tunjuk kan. Yang ni maybe tak sesuai lah kot kan, sebab dia fancy sangat. But if you want to turn it into a different table format, like this, and all that, so you know, depend. So they have their new category now. Contoh dia ada kategori data now. Kita boleh tekan data ni, so you can turn it into chart. Kalau tapi yang tu data tu tak sesuai lah, mean and SD. But if you want to visualize using line or whatever, dia akan cuba faham juga and then generate, right? And then this one is also very popular now. This type yang Shanky ni, yang jenis you know, dia akan cuba faham, right? Start yang ni, yang style macam ni, tapi your data ni yang example ni SD dengan ni tak sesuai lah kan. So it depends on the type of data you have. So you can pick whatever style you want. So now I can change my ni to dalam bentuk graph macam ni kan. And of course you can edit further if you want lah kan. Okay, if you need effect like AI, you can even prompt here, right? Bukan AI ni, all the effect and everything. So far I think napkin bukan apa, dia free. Some other software tu kan bayar kan, macam tak berbaloi you bayar. But if you want this, I think ChatGPT, kalau yang bayar untuk ChatGPT tu, sebab ChatGPT dia punya image engine ni dah cantik dah. Contoh you copy je, tu tak apalah, dia faham kot. Copy je table tu. Okay. Sekejap. Better guna gambar. Kalau ChatGPT ni better guna gambar Screenshot You screenshot ni kan. You screenshot and then pergi ke ChatGPT, you paste, right? You can say change this table to look more ataupun to change or visualize this table in a different way. In a different way. Okay, kalau you nak contoh style tertentu ke, nak grafik, you bagi tahu je lah. So ChatGPT is quite good, but tapi yang ni only work well for yang paid sebab kalau tak bayar, dia guna model instant ni, dia cacat sikit dia punya gambar. Kalau yang berbayar medium dengan high ni, you will realise that text dia lagi cantik lah. Tunggu dia buat ni kalau nak tengok hasil dia. Nampak? Okay, so you get the better, different way of visualizing. Right? Kalau tak suka yang ni, you prompt lagi lah, suruh dia guna dalam bentuk apa. So you get idea on how to visualize your table asal ni dalam bentuk yang lebih visual. Kan? Yang bar tu mean, yang line tu standard deviation lah, how far it is. Kan? Okay, kalau nak tekan download and then you can use it in your paper. Okay? ChatGPT pun boleh. Alright.
Okay. Alright. Terima kasih Dr. Chua. Saya harap dia dapat membantu soalan apa yang dikemukakan oleh saudari Tianmi Tang tadi. Okay. So saya rasa kita boleh teruskan kepada pengakhiran sesi. Jadi saya lihat tadi dalam checkbox banyak yang minta sebab ada yang masuk lewat dan sebagainya. Jadi saya mohon peserta nanti boleh refer kepada YouTube IPG Ketar. Nanti unit urus kita ICT akan upload video yang berkaitan. Okay. Jadi juga saya bagi mereka yang belum isi link kehadiran, sila berbuat demikian. Dalam checkbox ada disertakan link kehadiran kita pada petang ini. Jadi before we end, setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kami ucapkan kepada Dr. Chua Kiman, okay, atas perkongsian yang sangat bermakna pada hari ini. Dan terima kasih juga kepada pengurusan Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Tun Abdul Razak, the organising committee, especially Jabatan Perancangan Penyelidikan Inovasi JPPI, and all participants for your time and participation. So we hope that this session has been beneficial and inspired to all of you. So with that, we conclude today's webinar, which is AI Assisted Systematic Literature Review, SLR, and by Bibliometric Analysis. So thank you, stay safe and have a great day ahead. Okay, sebelum itu saya mohon untuk semua peserta membuka video kamera anda supaya kita boleh ambil gambar screenshot gambar tersebut. Mohon semua. Nanti urus setiap kami akan mengambil gambar. Okay, Cynthia, you may say something.
Yes, is everyone ready?
Oh, okay.
Kita tunggu sebentar. Okay, alright. Any more? No more. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, another time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Jadi Dr. Chua, saya percaya mungkin ada yang nak bertanya soalan tapi ada yang malu, so bolehlah hubungi Dr. Chua di alamat email. Nanti kalau perlu boleh minta bantuan daripada Dr. Nazri untuk mendapatkan alamat beliau. So ataupun boleh datang ke Sarawak lah, ke Unimas untuk berjumpa beliau terus.
Okay. Saya bukanlah pakar, okay? So ramai lagi pakar. Saya hanya nak kongsi. Okay. So untuk itu saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada especially kepada Dr. Chua, kepada Jabatan PPI, Ketua Jabatan kami dan semua mereka yang telah bertungkus lumus untuk menjayakan webinar kepada petang ini. So kalau ada masa ruang kita akan berjumpa sekali lagi dalam mungkin webinar penyelidikan yang ketiga ya Dr. Nazri sekiranya ada. So untuk itu sekali lagi stay safe and have a great day ahead. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi. Bye. Thank you everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Chua. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Puan Najah.
Sama-sama Dr. apa ni KJ. Thank you Dr. Nazri. Thank you semua kawan-kawan JPPI. Thank you semua yang masuk.